Hey, fam.
Hey.
Good morning.
It's Thursday. Morning, guys. Where's Charlamagne?
I'm not sure.
All right.
Yo.
Hello? What's going on over there?
I don't know what's going on. I don't even know what that was. What you do yesterday? Anything fun?
Me?
Yeah.
Yesterday I worked. I had to do my lip service podcast, and then I had a coffee uplifts people meeting. And then I was just depressed yesterday after the Breonna Taylor, after the results were in court. It was depressing.
Very
I'm
sad.
not gonna lie.
Very depressing. Very depressing. A lot to talk about today. And shout out to Toronto. Now, why don't I see anybody else in revolt?
I don't see
Can you
anybody
hear
else
me?
either.
There we go.
Yes.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Good morning.
Good morning. What's going
Morning.
on? What's
Going on? I don't know. Guess we got a show to do. Oh, you mean like I don't with your system?
Yeah, what happened?
Man, I don't know, man. My system ain't never all the way correct. I'm tired of being here. I'm tired of being I told y'all this. I'm tired of Zoom. I can't take it no more.
Okay, that's all
I gotta
right.
wait and see if the Wi-Fi works. Can't do nothing without your Wi-Fi. I feel like a damn robot.
Yeah, well, let's get the show cracking. Front page news, what we talking about, E?
Well, of course, we are going to talk about Breonna Taylor this morning and how she still hasn't received justice. We'll tell you what's going on in Louisville. We'll tell you people's responses to the grand jury's indictment of former Louisville police officer Brett Hankinson. We'll tell you what that indictment means and what's going on with the other officers.
All right, we'll get into that next. Keep it locked. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. The Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Where we starting, E?
Well, let's start, of course, with Breonna Taylor. And a Kentucky grand jury did indict former Louisville police officer Brett Hankinson. That was on 3 counts of wanton endangerment in the first degree. And neither he nor the other 2 officers who were involved in that encounter were charged in her death. So just to be clear, none of the charges that Brett Hankinson faced have anything to do with killing Breonna Taylor. This all has to do with the bullets that penetrated the wall of the residence and entered a neighboring apartment that was occupied by a child, a man, and a pregnant woman. So Breonna Taylor, there's no charges regarding her killing. Now,
Even when you know that it's not no justice is going to be served, it doesn't hurt any less. I'll tell you that much.
And you could tell just by the way they were setting up Louisville and shutting down the courts and making sure everything was protected. They knew what was coming down yesterday. Now, here is the Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron at a news conference following the grand jury's announcements where he talked about the no-knock.
Evidence shows that officers both knocked and announced their presence at the apartment. The officers' statements about their announcement are corroborated by an independent witness who was near in a proximity to apartment 4. In other words, the warrant was not served as a no-knock warrant. When officers were unable to get anyone to answer or open the door to apartment 4, the decision was made to breach the door.
See,
So the
I don't
boyfriend is not
understand.
considered a witness? Wasn't the boyfriend was in the house?
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, if Kenneth says nobody knocked, his word doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but you know what bothers me is who signed off on that warrant? Like, who was the one that sent them to the wrong house? Who was the one that didn't know that the gentleman was already in custody? Who signed off on that? Who allowed them to go into that house? That's why I don't know how he's not charged or that person's not charged, because he made a mistake. It's clearly a mistake. It was clearly he was sent them to the wrong house. It was clearly that he didn't think about the person. They didn't do the proper homework.
No, they didn't send him to the wrong house. He was signed off on a search warrant for Breonna's apartment. They didn't send him to the wrong house.
Wasn't the guy
But
in
he was
custody
already in
that's what we're
custody.
looking for?
He was already in custody. So a little communication
yes.
here. All right, now here's a Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron talking about the investigation. He says it was fair.
And so the length of the investigation was a reflection of how important it was that we got this right. We didn't want to rush it, and we did not. These are prosecutors and investigators who don't care about political distinctions, don't care about influence in any particular regard. What they care about is the truth. and we presented that to the grand jury.
All right. He also talks about the claims to injustice to the Black community. He responds to those claims.
What do you say to people who say this is just another example of the Black community not getting full justice?
I certainly understand the pain that has been brought about by the tragic loss of Ms. Taylor. I understand that as a attorney general who is responsible for all 120 counties in terms of being the chief legal officer. I understand that. I understand that as a Black man, how painful this is, which is why it was so incredibly important for make sure that we did everything we possibly could to uncover every fact.
Here's the thing for me, man. When officers, I guess, make a mistake, I'm putting mistake in air quotes, when you are a victim of malpractice like, Breonna Taylor was, what's the punishment for the officers? If it's not an arrest, what is it? If I make a mistake here on the radio, there's some type of consequences. Like, what are the consequences? They still get to keep their job. They don't get suspended without pay. Like, what happens? Like, nothing? Just a life is gone and it's just whatever.
And I want to skip ahead to Donald Trump now because everybody was talking about his, quote, response. And here's what he had to say, his message to the Black community.
What is your message to the Black community who believe that perhaps justice was not served?
Well, my message is that I love the Black community, and I've done more for the Black community than any other president, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. And I mean that. I don't know enough about it. I heard a decision was just made. We've been together here, and so we haven't discussed it. But after I see what the decision is, I will have a comment on it. Okay?
Wow. And here he is talking about the Kentucky Attorney General, Daniel Cameron, who you just heard, and he thinks he's great.
Really brilliant Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron is doing a fantastic job. I think he's a star.
All right, that is your president, and that is your front page news.
All right, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. This.
This Rick, how you going?
How's it going, brother? Get it off your chest.
King.
Man, I just want to, man, comment on this Breonna Taylor situation, man. Like, once an endangerment, it's basically the same thing as reckless murder. I mean, it's reckless shooting, right? So if you shooting recklessly and you kill somebody, how the hell that's not reckless murder, man? I mean, I'm so sick and tired of this, bro. Like, we're not asking for nothing, bro. We just asking to be treated like regular people, man. I'm sorry, I apologize. Like, we just asking to be.
You don't gotta apologize, my brother. You don't gotta apologize.
Wrong, man. You know what I'm saying? That don't bring sense. I have a little girl, bro. And I grow up. I got 2 boys and a little girl, man. And I be scared for them, man. And I don't know how you put me in a position, for you to brutalize my kids and you expect me to suspect them. That's not right,
real.
Man. That's not right, man.
That's real.
It's wrong, man. And it's hard, man. I swear to God, I understand, man. I know you say you have good white people out there, and I honestly, God, believe it's true. But it be so hard not to hate them, bro, when you see what the going on in this, man. That girl was in her house asleep, man.
Right.
And they did her
That's
like
real.
that, man. That's not right, man. It's
Right.
not right, dog.
That's real.
It's not right, man. I just hope the blessings of Allah be upon her and her family, man.
Absolutely.
That's
Well, thank you for
crazy,
calling,
man.
brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, King. Love you, King.
Hello, who's this?
This is Misty.
Hey, good morning, Misty.
How are you guys? Good morning.
Doing well. Get it off your
Anthony
chest.
and Lenny.
Good morning.
I would like to get off, Angela and Charlamagne. I would like to get off my chest.
Peace.
I have one daughter who just graduated from Spelman last year.
Mm-hmm.
The hurt that I feel for her mother is just unbearable. And at this point in time, they're asking for us to, and I don't promote violence, but I honestly feel like if you do something to my child, you kill her, you think you get to live, how am I supposed to be on this earth without my daughter? So
Right.
I want America to know how they're creating the Cruz Turners, the new Nat Turners, by consistently giving us injustice when it comes to the school system, when it comes to the criminal system. Like, at this point, they are leaving us no choice but to protect ourselves. And I agree with Charlamagne. It is time that we get our own guns because it's going to go down. You have a president that's saying he's not going to leave office as if he's a thug when it's time for him
Yep.
to leave. We have to stand up. We have to be strong. And I feel so bad for Breonna Taylor's mother, considering I have one daughter. And I'm telling you, if he did anything to my baby, your kid will not be able to live, and your mom is not going to be able to live. And I'm sorry, but this is what they're asking us to do. They're now telling us you have no choice, you get no justice. So the only justice that I see is if we start raising up like Nat Turner in the Sister Gardens in this book, because they're not going to give it to us. Have a good day, guys.
You too.
You too. That's the first thing I thought about was Tamika Palmer, Breonna Taylor's mother. So much love and prayers out to her, because this is such a difficult time to have to go through this.
Yeah, absolutely.
In America, this is the energy that you're creating, because you're not, you're simply not giving folks no justice, and you're leaving folks no choice.
All right.
And every black person in America absolutely needs to own a legal firearm. That is a form of self-care. Every black person in America needs to own a legal firearm. That is a form of self-care when you are black in this country.
Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, hit us up now. It's the calls. 800-585-1051. Get it off your chest. If you're upset and you need to vent, hit us up. Or if you need to spread some positive.
Good morning. This is Trisha.
Hey, Trisha, get it off your chest.
Hi. Good morning, guys. I want to start by saying God bless you guys on this beautiful day.
Bless you too, Queen.
I just want to talk about this situation with Breonna Taylor. It's just very disheartening. And as a black mom, it's just so disappointing to see that her mom is not going to get justice for her daughter. And it's just like, we don't have no trust in our system. We're raising kids in a very, very hard time. It's like you don't know which way to turn. You don't know what to tell your children about what's going on, especially if they're young. It's very hard to sit down and have these hard conversations with them. But us as the black community needs to have these hard conversations. We need to expand and let our black children know that the way they're being treated and the things that are happening to them are not okay, and it's not right.
It's hard because, I feel like none of us were surprised by the verdict, but a lot of us did still feel disappointed. And we also kind of was like, okay, maybe this time.
Maybe this time.
No,
yeah, absolutely.
I didn't think that at all.
It's so hard, but none of us were surprised.
I didn't have anything in the system.
But I still was praying for the family and hoping that something good would come out of all this. You know, there were people who were very active in Louisville, occupying Louisville and protesting, and a lot of things were happening. The $12 million settlement, you feel like, okay, maybe they do realize something. Maybe this is an indication that there will be some justice following that. No. And once again, nothing.
Right. I didn't think that all week. I've been telling y'all on this radio all week wasn't no justice going to be served in no way, shape, or form. And I really don't understand how people can use this to tell us to vote. Like, these types of injustices happen under Democrats too. Doesn't matter who's in office, locally, nationally. We've been watching police and damn near everyone else get away with these type of injustices towards black people forever. So how is voting going to help that? Somebody got to explain that one to me too. Like, I just don't think using it in a moment like this to say, well, go vote. Like, it's been happening under every administration.
Right.
Happens locally, happens nationally. How is voting going to change the way white people perceive black people in America? Please tell me that.
Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. Now, we got rumors on the way, Yee?
Yes, and we'll talk more about Breonna Taylor because we just have to do that this morning, and we'll tell you what some people have been saying. We'll read you some of LeBron's tweets as well.
All right, we'll get into that next. It's the Breakfast Club. Come on. Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get to the rumors. Let's talk Breonna Taylor.
She's spilling the tea. This is the Rumor Report with Angela Yee on the Breakfast Club.
Yes, and because we don't have enough front page news, I want to make sure we address Breonna Taylor all morning. Attorney Ben Crump posted Jefferson Grand County jury indicts former Officer Brett Hankinson with 3 counts of wanton endangerment in first degree for bullets that went into other apartments, but nothing for the murder of Breonna Taylor. This is outrageous and offensive. If Brett Hankinson's behavior was wanton endangerment to people in neighboring apartments, then it should have been wanton endangerment in Breonna Taylor's apartment too. In fact, it should have been ruled wanton murder. Joe Biden tweeted out, even amidst the profound grief and anger today's decision generated, violence is never and can never be the answer. Those who engage in it must be held accountable. Jill and I are keeping the officers shot tonight in Louisville in our prayers. We wish them both a swift and full recovery because, as you know, there were 2 officers who were shot yesterday during the protests. Kamala Harris tweeted out tonight, I'm thinking of Breonna Taylor's family, who is still grieving the loss of a daughter and sister. We must never stop speaking Breonna's name as we work to reform our justice system, including overhauling no-knock warrants. She goes on to say, Joe Biden and I are keeping the police officers who were shot in Louisville in our hearts, wishing them a swift and speedy recovery. Violence is not the answer, and we must find a way to express our grief, anger, and demands in ways that reflect the world we wish to see. Bernie Sanders tweeted out, Breonna Taylor's life mattered. The result is a disgrace and an abdication of justice. Our criminal justice system is racist. The time for fundamental change is now. Colin Kaepernick tweeted out, the white supremacist institution of policing that stole Breonna Taylor's life from us must be abolished for the safety and well-being of our people. And LeBron said, I've been lost for words today. I'm devastated, hurt, sad, mad. We want justice for Breonna, yet justice was meant for her neighbor's apartment walls and not her beautiful life. Was I surprised at the verdict? Absolutely not. But damn it, I was and still am hurt and heavy-hearted. I send my love to Breonna's mother, family, and friends. I'm sorry. The most disrespected person on earth is the black woman. I promise you I'll do my best to change this as much as I can and even more. Love to you, queens, all over this country and beyond. So those are just some of the tweets that were sent out yesterday.
Wow.
All right, now
So
Chance the
sad.
Rapper is telling people to vote for whoever your mom is voting for. He said this a couple of days ago, and people went in on him on Twitter, and he said, ask your mom who to vote for. Vote for who she say. Your mama been through a lot. Ask them and trust them. What do y'all think about that?
I'll be honest with you. I mean, you vote for your woman. My mom got some good choices. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong to go with mama's opinion, especially if you don't necessarily know about politics and you haven't been paying attention. I don't have a problem with that. I don't know who your mom is. My mama good money.
Yeah, it depends on who your mom is, I would say. I think, you encourage people really to vote for whoever you want to vote for. It might be different than what but they were going in on him. And then they went on him for this. He was talking about Justin Bieber's new album. And here's what he had to say.
This album is really some of the best music I've made. Would you agree?
This is no cap at all. I said this to you in Chicago.
Damn.
It's some of the best music I've ever heard, period. It reminds me of when Michael Jackson made Off the Wall. Everybody that's listening, I am merching it right now. I promise you, it is literally groundbreaking music.
So, of course, the headline was Chance the Rapper says that Justin Bieber's album is like Michael Jackson's Off the Wall. But Chance the Rapper was quick to point out he was saying it reminds me of.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that, Chance. You know what I'm saying? Just say the music is fire. Just say the music is dope. Don't compare it to anything. And if you're going to compare it to something, please don't compare it to Michael Jackson Off the Wall. Because now I am hoping to hear something as good as Off the Wall. But it's not even about how the record sounds. It's about how the music makes you feel. Off the Wall gives us a feeling, and it's a feeling that is unmatched because we can all remember what we were doing as kids when we first heard Off the Wall. And we've all got different moments, hearing Off the Wall throughout the years. That music Justin Bieber's putting out doesn't have that kind of cachet behind it, Chance. So don't do that to him.
Okay, and Michelle Obama was on Conan O'Brien, and she was talking about the beginning of the pandemic, how things were really cool. They were organized with the girls. They would just have all kinds of little fun things and watercolor paintings, and they learned how to play spades. But then she said things went left, and now towards the end of the pandemic, everybody's kind of sick, and the kids are sick of being around them. Listen to this.
We've kind of had phases of COVID. There was sort of the early stages where we were all excited to be together and we were being all organized. That went away. And it started, I think, first our kids got a little sick of us.
I will say in the beginning of this, I was a lot more gung-ho about being productive about things in my home. And since then, things have fallen apart. All right, well, I'm Angela Yee, and that is your Rumor Report.
All right, thank you, Miss Yee. Now, when we come back, front page news, what we talking about?
You know what we're talking about. We got to talk more about Breonna Taylor. I want to discuss this verdict that came down and, just people being really disappointed in what's happening in Louisville and what's happening all over the United States. There were protests here in Brooklyn yesterday that were at the Barclays, and we'll discuss the aftermath.
All right, we'll get into that next. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Now, last night in sports, the Heat beat the Celtics. They lead the series 3-1. They won 112-109. Now, let's get right into it, Easy.
Yes, Breonna Taylor, a Kentucky grand jury indicted former Louisville police officer Brett Hankinson, but there were no charges brought up on the other two officers involved in the encounter that killed Breonna Taylor. So the charges against Hankinson are basically he's facing a maximum of 5 years in jail. And it specifically states that under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to human life, he wantonly shot a gun into the apartment. So this has nothing to do with Breonna Taylor getting killed. This has to do with him shooting and the bullets penetrating a wall of the residence, entering a neighboring apartment that occupied. So not even the person who was killed in her own home while she was sleeping in bed. These charges are for a neighboring apartment where no one was injured.
That's crazy. That is
All
crazy.
right, now let's listen to the Kentucky Attorney General. Cameron is talking about these charges and talking about homicide being considered.
Did the grand jury ever consider the charges of manslaughter, reckless homicide?
I won't get into the specifics again of the proceedings themselves are secret, but what I will say is that our team walked them through every homicide offense and also presented all of the information that was available to the grand jury. And then the grand jury was ultimately the one that made the decision about indicting Detective Hankinson.
I don't see how you don't at least get a manslaughter charge. Like doctors commit malpractice, there's consequences. I say something on this radio, even if it's by accident that I didn't mean to, there's consequences to it. Like, how is there no consequences for killing a young woman in her apartment while she's sleeping? Even if it was a mistake.
Of course, once this happened, there was protests across the United States. And in Louisville, there were actually 2 police officers who were shot during the protests shortly before the curfew began. There were reports of gunfire near one of the marches. 2 of the responding officers were shot. They have non-life-threatening wounds. And there is a suspect in custody in that situation.
The way that a lot of people feel right now, they should be happy that it's not more. And what do you expect? Seriously, if there's no order, you know what I mean? Because people don't feel like there's getting justice. That's the justice system fault, the so-called justice system.
Yeah, but people can't run around and start shooting random people.
That's the whole
Innocent
point.
People, and people.
That's what we're trying to tell the police. That's what we trying to tell the police officers.
Yeah,
too.
no,
That's
I
the
agree.
whole point.
But we just can't start shooting random people back.
Listen, I agree with you, but what do you expect? Seriously, how do you keep putting this kind of energy out, keep not giving people justice, and then expect people not to be upset? I'm not gonna tell somebody how they should express their pain. People are hurt. Hurt people hurt people. People are upset. People are angry. People are venting. People are frustrated. People at the end of their rope.
Now, Donald Trump tweeted out praying for the 2 police officers that were shot tonight in Louisville, Kentucky. The federal government stands behind you and is ready to help. And then he also said law and order.
But he didn't say nothing about prayers to the family of Breonna Taylor or nothing. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Nobody needs to be hurting anybody.
No.
At a time like this.
All right. Now, Donald Trump also was questioned during a press conference yesterday about whether he will leave the White House peacefully if he loses the election. And here's what happened.
Will you commit to making sure that there is a peaceful transferal of power after the election?
Well, we're going to have to see what happens. You know that I've been complaining very strongly about the ballots, and the ballots are a disaster.
I understand that, but people are rioting. Do you commit to making sure that there's a peaceful transferal of power?
We want to get rid of the ballots, and we'll have a very peaceful. There won't be a transfer, frankly. There'll be a continuation.
I've been telling y'all on this radio for about 1.5 years that the fastest in the White House was not leaving. That man is going to retain power through voter suppression. They're going to purge voters, especially in inner cities. They're going to suppress mail-in voting. You already see them suppressing registration rolls. They're going to limit physical polling locations, especially in areas with a high black population. The man is telling you he's not leaving peacefully, and he's telling you just throw away the absentee ballots. Don't count the ballots, and we won't have to worry about whether or not there'll be a peaceful transition of power. By the way, he benefits from the chaos. All of this recklessness in the streets right now, all of this, everything out of order. Now he can really say, oh, I'm the law and order president. I'm going to maintain order. No, you actually caused the chaos by not giving Americans what they deserve, which is justice in a situation like Breonna Taylor. But he's going to benefit from it. Because now they're going to run these images on Fox News over and over and over. They're going to be in Donald Trump ads and Donald Trump commercials saying, oh, this is Joe Biden's America. No, this is just America, period. And it's going to be America as long as this crooked system is in place. It doesn't need to be reformed. It needs to be overhauled.
Yeah.
Since Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, they said there was a surge in voter registration. They said that Vote.org saw more than 40,000 new voter registrations on Saturday and Sunday, which is a 68% increase from the prior weekend.
That's good. But once again, I really don't understand how you use this situation to tell people to vote, because these type of injustices happen under Democrats too. Doesn't matter who's in office, locally, nationally. We've been watching police and damn near everybody else get away with these type of injustices towards black people forever. So you got to explain to me how voting is going to change that.
In most places, you vote for your attorney general and you vote for local officials, and then you have to hold them accountable. It's not just voting, but also being involved. And so it is important who you vote for.
I hope
For
so,
your
but I don't
governor
think.
who might appoint the attorney general in some states. Some states you vote for your attorney general. So it is important to make sure you tell people to vote, because
you have a
it's who you want to represent you. And I'm not saying that that person has to be a Democrat or a Republican, but at least know who you're voting for and who has your interest.
Absolutely. Yeah, we should
that
definitely be
aligns with
registered voting, and people should be voting not just for the presidency, like you said, for all places, for mayors, for district attorneys, for all that. Yeah, absolutely, we should be registered to vote.
So throughout the history of America, how come we always see this type of scenario played out over and over and over and over again? Then?
A lot of times people don't vote. We do need more people to register to vote and to participate in the process. And we also need more people to be encouraged to run for these offices.
Yeah, and a lot of times we don't even know who's in our local offices. Like, let's be honest, a lot of times we don't know who's in our local offices. You know, I mean, we need to start knowing. We need to start doing our homework.
And I think we need people that are in these local offices that are willing to overhaul the system, not reform it, because this system is not for us. When they defined justice for all, black people were not included.
And that's why I encourage people to run for office. And if you know somebody who you think would be an incredible mayor or chief of a city police department, encourage them to run for office. Let them know that you'll support them and strategize. It's not just always the process is these are our candidates, but maybe you know people who you think that person would be a great candidate. Be involved.
All right. Well, that is your front page news. Now, when we come back, the author of Open Mic, Mike Hill, will be joining us. All right. You probably seen him on Fox Sports and a host of other platforms, but he'll be joining us next.
ESPN. He's engaged to Cynthia Bailey on Real Housewives of Atlanta.
So we'll see him. We'll talk to him next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We got a special guest on the line right now. The author of Open Mic, which is available right now. Mike Hill, ladies and gentlemen.
Mike, what's up, King?
How's it going?
That's black and highly favored.
Yes. Hey, Yee, I see you. Thank you for representing, man. Appreciate that.
What's up, Mike, man? I'm, reading this book, I'm like, you've really come a long way.
I have. I had to, people are going to look at a lot of the transgressions that I had in my life, but hopefully they look at the transformation, the things I went through in my life, seeing domestic violence growing up, finding out that my stepfather was a contracted killer, going through my marriages and all the stuff that I went through when I was at ESPN, Fox Sports, that led me to actually where I am right now when it comes to being involved with the lady I'm with right now. So it's been a journey, but I'm happy I took that journey.
Now, you grew up in the Bronx and Alabama, correct?
Yeah, I was born in the Bronx. I'm always going to be a New York dude, but Alabama is where my roots are. That's where my formative years of my life. So I call myself a kind of a country boy, kind of like Charlamagne and Moncks Corner down in South Carolina.
Yes, sir.
Kind of the same kind of background and whatnot. But it was kind of crazy for me because people think you grew up in the Bronx, that's where you're going to find a lot of trouble and whatnot. But I found more trouble when I was in Alabama because you got to understand when I grew up down there, it was the start of the crack era. And so a lot of the country boys down there was doing a lot of crazy stuff. And a lot of my friends got caught up in a lot of the drugs and whatnot. One of my best friends got killed in a drive-by shooting. One of my other friends was, armed robbery, spent 27 years of his life in prison and all that type of stuff. So a lot of the things that they grew up with, I grew up with. I just had some of the better decisions. I had some people in my life that kind of put me on the right track, or I could have been doing the same thing that they're doing right now, or what they were doing.
Right. Mike, you did something that I did, and I think all men eventually have to be intentional about doing. You went and you started doing the work on yourself to get some healing and some wholeness. When were you able to identify that you had traumas you needed to deal with and that you needed to go get help?
What's crazy is it wasn't until I actually started writing this book. This book was my therapy. I didn't even realize that I had so many traumas and pains and anger and depression that was built up inside me until I started writing this book. Then it became my therapy. I just know that at the age of 47, when I started writing this book, that I seemed on the outside that I was happy. I was living a great life. My job was wonderful. I was telling everybody I was happy, the happiest I had ever been in my life, professionally and personally.
But I would find myself at home just crying uncontrollably for no reason whatsoever. I'd be on the road with the Clippers when I was working with them, and I would just have, just tears just coming out of my eyes for whatever reason. And something told me I needed to write this book. So when I started writing this book, it felt like I was regurgitating. It just felt like everything started coming out of me at once. And I realized that I had all this stuff, all this trauma and all this pain that I had suppressed for so many years. And I think that's what we do as Black men. We suppress the anger and all that depression and all that pain, and I had to let it go. When I finally was able to let it go, I always call that like my surgery. And when I had the surgery, of course, you know how it is. There got to be rehabilitation after the surgery, and that was when my therapy came in. So I realized that, for 47 years, I was a boy acting like a man, and it wasn't until I actually wrote this book that I stepped into my manhood, and now I'm still kind of continuing that journey.
Yeah, it's interesting when you put everything together all at once, because obviously, as long as you've been on this earth, we're reading this book and then we're going through all these experiences that you went through. You joined the military, which that was something about you I didn't even know, prior to meeting you. And that's quite an experience already. And then you got married at a pretty young age, and it was kind of for selfish reasons, right?
Yeah. Everything was for selfish reasons for me growing up. I didn't know. I didn't have any male role models in my life. I didn't know how to live my life. I just had to kind of go day by day, seeing other people doing what they were doing. And I figured if they could do it, I could do it. Somebody my age, whatnot. And then getting married at an early age, because I saw one of my best friends in the military who was married with a kid, and he was making more money. So all the other stuff that I went through, it was because I saw other people doing or whatnot, and I didn't have the right people in my life basically kind of guiding me along the way, giving me that guidance that I need. And that's why I wanted to put this out there, because if you can find yourself a positive male role model, or just a positive role model, period, somebody that can take you under their wings and whatnot, to give you the direction, to give you some of the advice that I never received when I was younger, I hope that you can understand and look at my life and say, you know what? He made some of the mistakes that I'm still making right now, and I can go and get the help and the therapy, as Charlamagne was talking about, that I need, so that you can turn your life around at an earlier age and stop affecting your life. Because when you affect your life, you also affect the others around you too. And that's what people don't realize, is that you're not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting a lot of the other people that are living. Yep.
Now, earlier, did you say your dad was a contractor? Your stepdad was a contractor killer?
Yeah. I found.
How did you find that out?
I found that out when I came back from the military. I was just hanging out with him. I knew he had done some things in the past, whatnot. Obviously, when I was in the military, there was a story I wrote about when I got a call when I was in the Philippines, and he had killed somebody, and they came and raided the house, whatever. I'm halfway around the world, and I can't do anything about it, whatnot. He got off on that because of self-defense, so they say. But everybody kind of know what the real story was, to be honest with you. And then when I got home, he was kind of at his lowest point, and my mom had left him. And I'm sitting on the porch with him, basically trying to save this man. And I'm talking to him, and he's telling me all the things that he had done. And he just basically kind of confessed it, and then followed up talking to a lot of his friends or whatever. I found out all that type of stuff was true. But, even my dad, my stepdad, I don't want to kind of come down on him or whatever. He was a loving man, cared about me. He took me. I got his last name because he adopted me when I was 15 years old, and he loved me. He just had issues. So this is the main thing that I want to get people to understand about this book, is that we, as Black men, need help, and we can't be afraid to ask for that help. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to cry. It's okay to say, you know what, my life right now ain't going the way it's supposed to go. So I need somebody to reach out to and understand, and somebody to reach back to me to give me the help that I needed. So I wish that my father would have gotten the help that he needed at an earlier age. Somebody would have pulled him in and basically told him, you know what, the path you're going down right now isn't going to lead you anywhere. It's going to lead you to devastation, destruction. You're going to hurt a lot of people around you, just like he did. And maybe he would have worked out okay, but unfortunately it didn't, because he spent the last 9 years of his life in prison for murder for hire, and you'll see why. And it was a terrible story why he did that too as well.
All right, we got more with Mike Hill. When we come back, don't move. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We're kicking it with Mike Hill. Charlamagne?
Did you receive any backlash from anybody when you decided to go to therapy? Because if you go on YouTube right now, all you see is, Charlamagne talked about his mental health and going to therapy. Everything isn't about therapy.
I don't care. It's my life. and yeah, I understand, Charlamagne. I got to be honest with you. Reading your book actually helped me out a lot too, because when I see you use your platform and basically admit that you had some mental health issues or whatnot, and that you weren't afraid to go and get the help that you needed, that was huge to use your platform that way. And I encourage anybody with a platform, I don't care if you got 10 followers, you got 10 million followers. If you know you need some kind of help in any kind of way, please ask for it. So the people that do come out and basically say, oh, you emotional, you crying, you calling you little names, whatever I want to call you, whatever. I don't care. I'm at a point in my life where my mind, my life, and the people around me matter more than anything in the world. So if you don't want to get the help that you need and you want to kind of dog me out for it, I pray for you. And I pray that you get the help. That's because right. I think when you do things like that, when you troll or you try and throw some kind of hate or disparaging remarks at somebody that's trying to get mental health, those are the main ones that actually need it. So I'm here to help you out. I'm here to make you a better person. So all I can do is use my platform and use whatever notoriety I have to basically set myself as an example, and hopefully somebody can follow suit.
Now, Mike, I got to ask you a couple of questions because you were very transparent about some things in this book. Okay, so, and I know that wasn't easy because there's some stories that you told that I'm like, wow. So there's something in here that you said, because you said when somebody asked you during a Q&A, maybe you'll answer that question. So let's ask you that question right now. There was an incident with your ex-wife, Camille, where you stayed out all night. She was trying to call you and you told her you were in the hospital. You know how men lie. Either they're in the hospital or they got arrested. That's how they excuse things. And she couldn't reach you. You actually, because you told her that, you actually checked into the hospital and pretended to have an asthma attack. And then you faxed her some proof over, but you had to change the time and everything that you checked in. Now you said, I bet you want to know where I really was. Maybe I'll answer this as part of a Q&A after the book comes out if someone brings it up. But we're bringing it up here. Where were you that night when you told your ex that you were in the hospital?
You're supposed to be my girl, man. I've been knowing you long. That's okay. I get it. I'm glad you read that part. And this was before we were actually married. So I was actually still technically single, but, But in a relationship. I was across the street hanging out with somebody I shouldn't have been hanging out with or whatnot. When I got back home, my phone was ringing off the hook. My ex was like a detective. She was one of those women, like if you were missing for like 5 minutes, she was going to call you or whatever. And when I got back home, I had like 12 missed calls and 13 messages, to be quite honest with you. So I was doing dirt. I was doing a lot. But because I liked her enough and we had gotten that deep into the relationship, I went to the extent of acting like I was sick, which once again, I am not proud of. Acting like I was sick. Acting like I was in the hospital, like I had just gone to the hospital or whatever, and I had to go to the emergency room, and she said, prove it. So I
you had to go.
That's how you know you really care. Is that effective when a woman is on you like that, when you know that you had a tendency, previously to stray, right? Does that work when women are constantly on you and like having you check in? You think that's an effective way?
Nah, it not for me. Because the person I'm with right now, and like I've gotten past all that stuff that I used to do in my life.
Shout out to Cynthia.
Yes, Cynthia, and I finally settled down, and I want to do it the right way. Like I said, I stepped into my manhood. But for me, when I want to do right, and when I've told you about my past, like obviously everybody knows about my past, and I just want you to give me an opportunity. I don't need you on top of me all the time, basically telling me, asking where I am, whatnot, checking my DMs or checking my phone and things like that. I think for me, for my personality, I think that pushes me away. I can understand why somebody would do it, but if you say you trust me, trust me. You know what I mean? Give me an opportunity to prove that I'm doing something wrong. Now, if I give you a reason for you not to trust me, then I understand being on probation or being checked up on. But, I need a wife. I need somebody that's going to be with me. I don't need a CO. I don't need a correctional officer. I don't need that. And I definitely don't need a parole officer because, you know what? I've never gone to your prison. You know what I mean? So I'm coming out. I'm not on probation for you. We're supposed to be in a relationship. Just trust me like you said you are.
I'm not going to lie. I think I kind of need a CO. Just a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Keep you in place.
I just need a little bit of direction. That's all. That's it. Nothing crazy.
Well, if you know that, but it's okay if you know that. That's cool. Understand. If you got a woman that's doesn't mind checking up on you and you don't mind showing her where you've been, that's fine. But here's the thing: what I've learned also is that it is also our jobs to make sure that they are secure. So if
We don't
I
want to
am
feel like
missing
that.
5 or 10 minutes or whatnot, I am the type of person that, you know what, let me get on the phone. If I'm hanging out with, there's a woman with me, I'm going to FaceTime my girl and let her know who I'm hanging out with, how many people I'm hanging out with, and I don't leave out details. That's the growth that I've had over the years. Now, like I said, I was doing my dirt back in the day, the infidelities or whatever. I admit all that. You know, that's just, me growing up. But at the same time, I've come a long way, and now I want to make my girl secure as possible.
Yeah, as a woman, we don't want to feel that way. We don't want to feel like I gotta check, make sure he checks in. Where is he? I don't want to call my man and be like, okay, he's not answering the phone. He must be doing something. I want to call him, and if he doesn't answer, be like, hey, hit me when you get this, and feel comfortable.
Yeah, but at the same time, if I'm at work, if I tell you I'm on an interview and I don't answer the phone right away because I'm on the air, I'm doing television, I'm doing a radio show, and you kind of know that, and you blowing me up, and you blow me up 5 or 6 times, and I finally answer, and the first thing you say, "What the f you been?" That's why you kind of react a certain way, because you know what, I'm doing my job, I'm not doing somebody else. So you got to give me a little bit of leeway. That's all.
Men, we don't even know our habits, man. I remember back in the day when I used to have my dick in the dirt. My wife would always say to me, when I know you're messing around with a woman, is women that I don't know. Meaning all my female friends, she knows. So if she's never met her, I've never introduced her to introduce her to the person. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, I think that's important. So I got a lot of female friends. The majority of my friends are females. I just always got along better with females. Doesn't mean that I'm out there, D'ing them down or whatnot. It just means that we got a lot of platonic friends with them. They look at me like an uncle. They look at me like a big brother. I give them advice a lot of times. But one thing that's for sure, if I got a female friend, my fiance Cynthia has that female friend as well. If I'm hanging out with her, she knows I'm hanging out with her. So once again, that comes with part of just making your girl feel secure, especially if you have that past, because you want to make sure that you build up that trust and whatnot. And a lot of times some people do it, and I'm going to be honest with you, some people do it because they want to, they might have somebody still doing dirt or whatever. But I'm at a point in my life, like I said, I've done all this stuff, man. I don't judge me for the transgressions. Look at me for my transformation. I've grown up and I realized all the mistakes I made in the past. I want to leave those in the past because I want to have a bright future with somebody I can grow with.
All right, well, don't move. We got more with Mike Hill when we come back. Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We're kicking it with Mike Hill. Charlamagne?
Your fiance said you probably never would have proposed and she wouldn't have said yes if you didn't get the help you needed. So what traumas do you think were holding you back from being the man you are now?
Yeah, I didn't trust anybody. I mean, there was something that happened to me, and you read the book. There was something that happened to me when I was 15 years old with a young lady. And a lot of people's like, man, you held on to that for 30 years. Yes, Charlamagne, you understand. We as men sometimes hold on to traumas for a long period of time. And because
when you told her you loved her and she didn't say it back,
Yeah, I mean, that was it. I mean, like, she didn't, not only did she not say it back, she looked at me like I was freaking crazy. You know what I mean? And
and then dated someone else.
The first time I told a woman that I loved her, and she tells me, she looks at me and like, let's go. And then 2 days later, she's with somebody else who happened to actually be a friend of mine or whatnot. And I didn't even realize we had broken up. I felt that hurt. I felt that pain. And I didn't want to feel that again. So for a long time, I could not trust women. And after a while, I couldn't trust myself. So until I started loving myself, I could never fall in love with another woman. I could love somebody. I love the women that I married before, the mother of my children. Don't get me wrong. But there's a difference in loving somebody and falling in love. I could never completely fall in love because I couldn't trust them. But more importantly, I couldn't trust myself until I actually wrote this book.
Wow.
Mike, I'm sorry if I'm giving away some spoilers also, but I just want to, there's a lot to this book. So I do want to, give away little bits and pieces, but I think that is important. She's 15 years old. I love you. And she's,
at that age, was there anybody to talk to? Was there people to talk to during that time when you said I love you and she didn't say it back? Was there anybody who said, like, you know what, because we don't have these conversations. We're just starting to have these conversations now, but was there anybody that you could speak with?
You just talked over Mike saying she looked at me like she farted in my mouth.
Yeah, she looked at me like I farted in her mouth. Like,
yo, that's all Charlamagne heard. Charlamagne.
I heard everything. I'm like, how you talk over that? Like, look.
I didn't hear that.
That was the reaction. You know what I mean? So when you see that reaction, just imagine the first time you pure, and the way I described it, man, I felt like I was in the moment, like Luther. I don't even know who was playing in the background, but it was just like, this was like something out of a love story. I'm like, you know what? Looking at her, she's beautiful. She's 2 years older. She's a senior. I'm a sophomore. I'm like, I love you. I did it just like that, real smooth. That's in my mind.
The light skin moment right there. There you go.
I love you. You know what I mean? That's why I said I really said it real smooth. She looked at me like, so I remember that, and that hurt, that pain or whatever. So, like you said, there was nobody for me to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody I could go to. My biological father wasn't around. My stepfather, I couldn't talk to him about loving anybody because I never saw him love my mom. I never saw love in a household. So I didn't have anybody that was a positive male role model that I could actually talk to about that. And if I talked to them, they would say things like, F them hoes. Seriously. Man,
Right.
you ain't supposed to love them anyway. That's exactly the type of attitude
And
that I got.
Mike, I swear I was about to say that to you. What's interesting about that is she broke your heart. And when the other options are bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks, money over bitches, fuck them hoes, when the option is disrespect, you adopt that.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's what you see growing up as a kid, man. And so that's why, once again, I wanted people to see my pain and see the things that I've gone through in my life. And a lot of things, like Angela just said, some embarrassing moments that, it's hard for me to talk about or whatever at the same time. But I wanted to put that out there because if you can heal from my pain, then that's my journey. And that's what I'm supposed to be doing on this earth. That's my purpose in life.
One more tease I want to give, and I'm not going to give this story because I want to make sure everybody reads this book, but you're going to love this, Charlamagne. There was even an incident that you talk about where you got hit on the face or in the head with a penis.
Why is Charlamagne gonna love that? Did that happen to you too, Charlamagne? But explain, Mike. Go ahead.
So
That's a
this
tease.
is when I was starting my broadcasting career, and I was an intern, and we was in a tight locker room. I was holding a microphone, talking to somebody while I was on my knees because the locker room was real tight. And when I turned around, let's just say I turned around and another microphone hit me on my forehead right there because the players were so close to each other. And the guy said, "Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me." You know what I mean? So, but that was a really, and thank you, Angela. I appreciate that.
I probably would have left that, yeah.
Yeah, wow. But that was important for me to say too because that was part of my broadcasting career. That was like my introduction. I was about to quit.
You won't be the first person to start a broadcasting career because they got a on their head.
So what do you say after he says I'm sorry? What do you say? All right, you get up.
He was a superstar in the NBA. All I can do is like, well, damn, at least it was his. You know what I mean?
All right, who we talking about, Mike? Who we talking about, Mike?
Yeah, so he wouldn't say.
I'm pretty sure his has been, a lot of faces been slapped by that penis. I'm just saying.
Does it matter if it's a superstar or a scrub? If it's a scrub, would you get more mad?
Penis? Is it a Hall of Fame?
He's a Hall of Famer. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, he's a Hall of Fame. Yeah.
But Mike, what you're doing with your book is great, man, because we have to create space for each other to discuss our brokenness and discuss our traumas without being canceled. Yes, if you were a hurt person, you probably hurt people. And, we got to create safe spaces to have these conversations. We have to give each other the grace we want God to give us.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys giving me the platform to be able to talk about that because, like you said, Charlamagne, I appreciate you using your platform to basically get that word out that we can't be ashamed. We got to stop manning up. If we continue to man up, sooner or later it's going to be man down. I mean 6 feet down because I keep telling people, had I not written this book, I would be dead right now. Think about this. As Black people, every single person in this country has had to deal with some kind of trauma. We're dealing with trauma right now. Basically, when you're afraid to get in your car and get stopped by the police, that's trauma. That's pain. Feel free to talk about that type of stuff and not be ashamed of it because being a man is admitting that you have problems and you need help with those problems. And that's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to keep on using my platform for that regard.
Another takeaway from this book is a lot of people see you as the successful Mike Hill now, but they don't know how long it took for you to get there and all the trials and tribulations that you had to have, even getting fired, having to dumb yourself down to be on a network and not show your real personality, feeling betrayal, all of those things at work and how hard it is to just keep going when things aren't working out. And I think that's a really huge, valuable takeaway for people. It's not an overnight thing.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that because part of the book is about my professional growth and my development and the things, like you said, that I had to go through and having to basically, I lost myself. I mean, to get a dream job at ESPN and then basically be told, at one time that I was being too ghetto. you know, and one of the reasons why I wasn't moving up is being too ghetto. And you know, I was talking about Envy the other day when Envy came out, and he was talking about what somebody at a network basically told him, that he wasn't black enough. So I've been that guy that in a lot of places that I've been too black for some people. I've been too ghetto, so to speak, for some people, and I've been too white for other people. I've been corny or whatnot. So I'm kind of in between, and it's kind of hard. So once you realize who you are and you step into who you are, and you don't care what other people think, it's so liberating. But going through what I went through in my life, being fired, like you said, for whatever reasons I got fired, and you'll see it in the book, or whatever, the ups and downs at ESPN, and then losing my personality and losing who I was, can't look myself in the mirror and realize that I lost who Mike Hill was. I mean, that was tough, and I finally got that back. So you'll see the transgressions and the transformation that I had with my professional career as well.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate you, brother, for checking in, man. We really do. And definitely show them the bookie.
Open mic, and by the way,
Mike Hill.
Mike Hill will be doing Angela Yee's book club, the Well-Read Book Club. So I appreciate you for that. We'll be announcing that date shortly.
Well, I got one more question, though, because I know you've been doing the work on yourself, so your ego isn't as fragile as it used to be. But when you saw the headline a couple weeks ago that your fiance said she's been having horrible quarantine sex with you, how did that hit for you?
You know, it didn't affect me whatsoever, because I know what I'm doing in the bedroom, bro. So I know I know I'm putting it down, dog. I mean, look, hey, bro, the reviews are okay, to be quite honest with you. So, like, you know how clickbait is. If you read the article,
yeah, that's not what she was saying.
She was talking about more the circumstance, the environment.
Right. Yeah, because our kids were in the house, so man, she couldn't get a scream on. Man, my girl, like, you know, she said, "Yeah, on, bro," you know.
You come a long way from the beginning of this book when you were hunching and releasing just from that. So congrats on that.
Great.
So well, I appreciate that.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for joining us.
All the gossip. The Rumor Report.
It's the Rumor Report.
The Breakfast Club.
Well, Mariah did a sit down with Oprah, and this is all about her new book. She did an interview for the Oprah Conversation, and she talked about some of the stories that she is sharing in her memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey. That is coming out on September 29th. There's a lot going on September 29th, by the way. That's the first debates between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. It's also my brother's birthday. And she discussed as many things, including growing up biracial and what that experience was like.
It wasn't that I didn't like my hair when it was behaving, but as I grew up a little bit, it went from baby hair to like matted, unruly hair that nobody was combing through or understanding that you can't have a little girl running around with mats in her head. I feel like I was hated on by certain people in my family for having the lighter hair. But then if they only realized, like, no, actually, I have like matted hair, which is frizzy and curly, and like it could look good if we had some conditioner.
So your mother didn't know what to do with it, and many times she just let it go.
She also discusses dating Derek Jeter and how that helped her get over her relationship and get out of her relationship with Tommy Mottola.
He was a catalyst that helped me get out of that relationship. And I think that it was beautiful. And his family was a healthy family. And they changed my viewpoint that, oh, it's because of the biracial situation that my family's so screwed up, as opposed to it's them, you know? And yes, those things did play a huge part in their dysfunction. But it was healthy for me to see a functional family that basically kind of looked like mine, but didn't feel like mine.
And then she talks about her twins, the kids, and how they help her.
They help to heal me every day. Every time we have a moment that feels real and authentic and genuine, and it's them loving me unconditionally. The only other time I
finally got it. You finally got it.
You know, I am actually interested in reading Mariah Carey's book.
Me too.
I really am.
Yeah, me
You
too.
know, ever since the time Mariah Carey came into the Breakfast Club studios and she was in full diva mode and she had her own lighting team and she made us turn our lights down and set hers up. And when we said to her, well, you're not going to be able to see us, she said, that's the point, darling. I've always liked her. I like people who are unapologetically themselves, even if themselves is a total diva.
Now, isn't DJ Sus One Mariah's DJ also?
Yes,
DJ Sus One belongs to Wendy Williams. Now, you must not know how this works, Yee. Okay.
How does this work, Charlamagne? You've been there.
Wendy has a leash around Sus One. All right. Okay. Until that leash is off, he belongs to Wendy. That's how this works. Sus will realize that when he tries to.
He's getting all the money.
All right. Well, he better hope Mariah and Wendy have a good relationship. Because if Mariah don't come to Wendy's show to promote that book, Wendy will be quick to say, F Mariah, and sus, you better not go on the road with her.
Wow. So is that how it works? Is that how you sat on her lap? She has a leash on you and
That's right. You ain't see that little tug? Sit down. Come here.
Sit down.
Sit down. Sit down. Here. Little tame puppy.
All right, now John Legend says that he and Chrissy Teigen go to therapy, and he also said that therapy and communication are some of the factors that has helped their marriage last. He said, it sounds obvious, but being with someone you really care about, respect, and enjoy being around, I think that's the crucial foundation. Then communicating, being considerate, listening to your partner, and making sure their needs are met. And we go to therapy sometimes. I think every couple who's been together for a long time could use time to talk with a third party to help with whatever concerns they have. And this was with Cosmopolitan UK.
I agree with
Do y'all all go to therapy with your other half?
I've been to couples therapy before.
I've been before a long time ago, but there's people that we speak with when we have conversations or there's a disagreement, but I mean, we have you know what helps us a lot, and I'll be honest, taping the podcast with each other. Yep, the podcast does everything, because every week we talk about what's going on in our relationship or things that happen, and we just sit down and talk to each other. There's no arguments, it's just discussion and communication. So that podcast helps a lot. I love it.
I do want to add couples therapy to the repertoire, though. I mean, I've been before, and I go individually every week, but I think couples therapy is great. What's wrong with me?
Felicia Rashad has joined social media. She put up a video and told her fans that she's there.
I told my sister Debbie, there are so many Twitter, Facebook, Instagram accounts with my name already on it. Why should I do this? She said, yeah, Vish, but they're not the real you. So this is the real me talking to the real you. And I'm looking forward to posting about things that matter.
Was the video upside down? She had it together? It was good?
Why would you try to play her like that?
I'm just saying.
All right. She said, good morning. I want to give a shout out to our young people who are navigating education via the virtual classroom, and to the teachers, parents, grandparents, family members, and friends who are helping them to do it. Bless you all. So she posted that message also.
I'll follow. Felicia Rashad is a beautiful woman, by the way. Her Throwback Thursday picture.
Talented.
Fire.
Shut up, man.
Today, I'm telling you, today is the Felicia Rashad day to shine. You hear me? I bet you right now, if she throws up about 5 or 6 good Throwback Thursday pictures, she'll crack 1 million followers today. I'm telling you.
Let me see what she's up to, because as soon as she posted that, she had like 40,000 right away. She has 59,000 right now.
Okay. Throwback Thursday. Right. I'm telling you, it's your time to shine, Miss Rashad.
All right. Well, I'm Angela Yee, and that is your Rumor Report.
All right, thank you, Miss Yee. Charlamagne, who are you giving that donkey to?
I'm gonna give donkey of the day to the Jefferson County Grand Jury and Attorney Daniel Cameron. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't have no answers for y'all this morning. I just feel like venting.
All right, we'll get into that next. Keep it low.
I'm a Democrat, so being donkey of the day is a little bit of a mixed up. So like a donkey. Hee-haw. Okay. Donkey of the day. Breakfast Club, bitches.
23 years, but Donkey of the Day is a new one.
Donkey of the Day for Thursday, September 24th goes to the Jefferson County Grand Jury and Attorney Daniel Cameron in Kentucky. Whoever else was responsible for ensuring that justice was not served in the shooting death of Breonna Taylor, this donkey is for you too. If you haven't heard, a Jefferson County Grand Jury Wednesday in
democratic values they tell us about. Those 3 words are supposed to represent basic values of democratic political systems. At the bare minimum, a human in this country should be able to get liberty, equality, and justice. But we know that's not the case when you're black. All right? Democratic values are supposed to support the belief that an orderly society can exist in which freedom is preserved. But order and freedom must be balanced, right? So when you see all this civil unrest in the street right now after verdicts like Breonna Taylor happen and people are acting out of order, it's because there's no balance. All right, order and freedom must be balanced. There will never be order when a people are not free. And it's hard to feel truly free when you don't feel protected, when you know at any moment in this country, your human rights can be violated. So we keep talking about our civil rights being violated. Let me tell y'all something. In order for one to respect our civil rights, they have to respect our human rights, which is my right to simply live. Okay? What does this country say? What does this country say? I think it's my right to life and liberty. That BS. This country says everyone is entitled to these rights without discrimination. Well, where that's at? Why I don't feel that way? I'm a black man. If it wasn't for my faith in a higher power and my right to bear arms, I would never feel safe in this country. And that's what I mean when I say I want black people to win. A win to me is us as black people feeling protected. Okay, hard to feel like that when you live in the United States of anxiety. Okay, I want black people to feel like we matter. I want us to be able to, deal with our generational traumas and heal, but we are not ever able to do that because we keep getting re-traumatized over and over in this country. This country will always remind us that black lives simply don't matter. I got a beautiful black wife, 3 beautiful black daughters. I am a black man. I just, think about it. Today we mad about Breonna Taylor. We still mad about George Floyd. You got Ahmaud Arbery, but all those names are interchangeable with Sandra Bland, Walter Scott, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Natasha McKenna, Philando Castile. Could be you. Like, it's just too much. And I know, vote in November. Look, I plan to. But please, politicians, don't politicize black pain to scare me into voting, because these injustices happen under Democrats too. It doesn't matter what party is in power, because once again, this isn't about civil rights. It's about human rights. And white people in this country have always looked at black folks as subhuman. So does it matter who's in office locally, nationally, when we've been watching police and damn near everyone else get away with these types of injustices towards black people forever? Once again, I'm voting, but don't politicize black pain to scare me to vote. Don't tell me how the justice system needs to be reformed. No, because that system was never designed to provide equal justice across the board. Okay, when they say justice for all, they were not talking about black folks. Bernie Sanders hit it on the head yesterday when he said in a tweet, Breonna Taylor's life mattered. This result is a disgrace and an abdication of justice. Our criminal justice system is racist. Okay, the time for fundamental change is now. Key words in that, our criminal justice system is racist. There is no reforming a racist system. Okay? You got to overhaul the whole thing from top to bottom. Throw it out. The criminal justice system in America is defective product. Take it off the assembly line. Let's build something new, because this is not working. I don't have the answers. Okay, I'm just telling you how I feel. I hate when I hear politicians get asked about these situations and the first thing they say is, make sure you protest peacefully. We don't need any violence. How about tell that to the cops? Tell them to police peacefully. Tell them we don't need any more violence. Hell, show and prove through actions and deeds and hold them accountable when situations like Breonna Taylor happen. And maybe they will slow down on violence. What are the consequences to their actions? They don't lose their pensions. They don't go to prison. What will ensure that situations like Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and insert black name here don't happen again? All right. These politicians be having more smoke for protesters than they do the police. You have more smoke for the people in pain than the people causing the pain. These politicians love acknowledging the effect, but not the cause. It's sickening, man. It really is. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I have faith in God. Okay, I go to therapy to avoid going crazy. And I think every black person in America should own a legal firearm, and you should know how to use it. That's all I got, black people. That's all I got. If y'all got some great ideas, I'm all ears. But at this moment, today, right now, I got nothing. Just like Breonna Taylor's family got nothing in regards to justice. And if there's no justice, there's no peace in the streets. Okay? And that's the way karma works. In America, almighty America, no one, and I mean no one, can escape the law of karma. Please let Remy Ma give the Jefferson County Grand Jury and Attorney Daniel Cameron the biggest hee-haw.
Hee-haw, hee-haw, you stupid motherfucker, are you dumb?
All right. Well, thank you for that donkey of the day.
I wish I didn't have to do it.
Now, when we come back, let's open up the phone lines. 800-585-1051. E, what you want to do?
Usually Ashley does Ask You here, right?
Yeah.
This is normally where I would do Ask You, but today I want the women to call
after Breonna Taylor's family still has not gotten justice. They have not gotten justice for Breonna Taylor. I want to hear what your thoughts are as women, as Black women here in the United States. Please call up and let's just vent and get it off, I guess, get it off our chest today. We want to hear from you.
All right, 800-585-10.
Charlamagne the God, we are the Breakfast Club. Now, usually we do Ask Ye here. With everything that's going on, we just want to open up the phone lines and speak to everybody. Speak to definitely you women, you mothers, you sisters, oh man.
We want to speak to Black women in particular because Black women's experience has been really different in this country and around the world when it comes to police brutality, when it comes to feminism, when it comes to our rights, when it comes to being respected. And it's a continuing issue. And we see this right now with Breonna Taylor and no justice for her family. She was killed by police officers and there were no charges based off of her getting killed. So we want to talk to Black women and talk about how you feel. As you know, the most famous quote, the most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman. And you can see that when it comes to finances, what women get paid. Women make 82 cents for every dollar that a white man makes, but Black women make 62 cents still in the United States for every dollar that a white man makes. So we're always still at the bottom of everything. And I want to get Black women to call and talk about how you're feeling this morning. Black women also face police brutality, sexual assault at a higher rate than white women. So I just want to get your thoughts this morning.
Hello, who's this?
Hello, my name is Kiana. I'm from Jersey. I just want to know, where is safe to be a Black female in this country? Because from a young age, we're taught, you're not safe around your family. You're not safe in your neighborhood. Growing up, you got to be safe. Like, it's always be safe, safe, safe. But where's that place? Because now we're at a point where you can't even be sleep in bed. That is scary. Like, I feel afraid for Black men, like with the police and everything that's going on, but it's us too. Where's that place? Where's that place of safety? It's not happening. It's non-existent, and I'm terrified. It's disgusting that the outcome of this case, it's disgusting. It's disgusting, and I just want to know how long it's going to last.
And Black women show up for everybody else too. So people have to show up.
All the time, and when we get talked about. But where is a place of safety for a Black female in America? Anywhere.
Yeah, I agree with everything that everybody is saying, but I think we're all in the same boat when it comes to racism in America. It's a system that's against Black people. It was never designed for Black people, and we are all in this together, and that's what I think we all need to understand. There was a Black man in that house with her who actually defended her and his residents. And I'm shocked that he's alive. And that's a situation that as a Black man, I pray I'm never in. Envy, I know you pray you're never in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we never, even though we will defend our families, we don't ever want to be in that situation.
Let's go to another call.
But we do want to talk about Black women in particular this morning. They have a whole organization called Say Her Name that started because there's so many Black women that were killed by police officers and people don't talk about it as much.
Well, let's go to another caller. Hello, who's this?
My name is Sunny.
Hey, Sunny, where you calling from?
I'm calling from the New Jersey area, but I'm born and raised in NYC. I'm a Bronx bred girl.
All right, let's talk about it. What are your thoughts, Mama?
Well, my thoughts are, I'm a Black woman. I have a Black son. I have a Black daughter. Breonna Taylor could have been my daughter. I'm a professional. I grew up, in hard times. I've overcome a lot. But I just feel like as being a professional, as being a mother, I always have to have that guard up. I always have to go the extra mile. It's exhausting. And then just to come to the revelation that it's just not enough. Mm-hmm. It's just not enough. My heart goes out to Breonna Taylor's family. Just the thought that your child's life does not matter in a country that you helped build.
All right. Well, thank you for calling, Mama. 800-585-1051. Phone lines are wide open. Call us now. It's The Breakfast. ANV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast. Usually this is where we do Ask Ye. But today we're doing things a little different, right? E?
Yes, today we have Black women. We want you to call in and just tell us your thoughts. You know, we talk about Black women being neglected, being disrespected in this country, even financially. The Crown Act just recently is about to go to the Senate now. And even our hair being, and I know it might be something that some people might think of as small, but being discriminated against because of how your hair is worn, so much that we had to pass a Crown Act or work on getting something like that passed. So it's just so many different things. More than 80% of Black women are heads of their household too in the United States. And I wanted to point that out as well. So the fact that we make 62 cents on the dollar in comparison to white men, but still have to be the heads of households. Imagine what that does for an entire family. So we want to get your thoughts on what's going on here.
All right. Well, let's go to the phone lines. Hello, who's this?
Hey, this is Nicole.
Hey, Nicole. Where you calling from?
Peace, Nicole.
Hey, I'm actually calling from Louisville, Kentucky. How are you all? Hey, Charlamagne.
I'm blessed, black, and highly favored. How are you? How's it out there? What's the energy like?
Right now it's morning time, so the energy, you know, it's kind of still. I'm definitely like hurt. Like I was crying before he even came out and said it, because it's kind of like, you know, everybody pretty much knew, you know, once they took the settlement. But you know, they're still protesting. They, you know, of course they want them charged, but you know, it's very sad. And I just wanted to also say that I do agree with LeBron James' tweet, because it is hard for a Black woman. It's like we have to go out in the world and fight the world and, you know, try to make it and be successful. You got to so-called fake it till you make it. And then you come in at home, you got to have peace in your home, make sure you have peace in your home. So, you know, it's just really hard. And if we just stick together, you know, but right now, like I said, everything's like kind of peaceful. We got a 9 o'clock curfew for the next couple of days. And I mean, that's pretty much it at the moment. I can say that. So, but yeah.
All right.
It's pretty sad.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, thank you, Mama. All right, let's go to another line. Hello, who's this?
Hi, this is India.
Hey, India. Good morning. Talk to us now this morning.
It's emotionally draining. I find myself holding my daughter a little bit longer in the morning, because you never know. You never know what a-hole is going to pull you over that day. Our life is less packed. A world has more value than a life, I guess. I mean, granted, fear for the safety of the family, you know, that was behind that wall. But at the end of the day, I knew it was going to happen. I have a family member who, you know, she kind of sort of works within the GA here in North Carolina, and, you know, we talk about it every day. I have a friend who's in the healthcare field, so she deals with patients with mental health, and you know, we intertwine and talk about it every day. I'm low-key in education, so it's like, as a Black woman, like, what more can you do? It's just really draining.
Right.
It's just really draining.
We just need some support.
It is very draining.
And people,
it's very draining. Like, I'm on my way to work now. I work with kids. I'm in childcare. I'm on my way to work now. I have to get ready, put this smile on my face for parents, but I am drained.
Could imagine, Mama.
What Angela Yee said just now is very important. It is about support, and I just don't want Black women to feel like they're alone, because that could be Breonna Taylor, that could be our wife, our daughter, our sister. When things like this, when things like this happen to Breonna Taylor, it impacts us all. There is no Black women have it worse when it comes to racism. Black men have it worse when it comes to racism. We have a whole system against us, a whole system oppressing us, a whole system that isn't providing justice for any of us. So I don't want sisters to feel like they're alone, because for every Breonna Taylor, there's a George Floyd. For every Sandra Bland, there's a Philando Castile. For every Natasha McKinnon, there's a Tamir Rice. So yes, I want sisters to vent, get it off their chest, but I need everyone to know, Black people, we are in this together. The system is against us. And while y'all fighting, we as Black men are here to defend y'all, because I'm going to die about mine. And I don't think America understands the position they are putting us in as Black people. I really don't think they get it.
All right.
And I want to recommend a book that I just started reading. It's called Invisible No More, Police Violence Against Black Women and Women of Color. It's by Andrea Ritchie. So just to get some more insight into the history of what's going on in our country. And yeah, that's just the support that we need for people to pay attention when it's Black women also.
All right. Oh, we got rumors on the way, Yee. What we talking about?
Yes, and let's talk about Kanye West. You know, he's been calling out these labels, and he got called out as well. So here's what he said he's about to do for good music artists.
All right, we'll get into that next. Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God, we are the Breakfast Club. Let's get to the rumors. Let's talk Kanye West.
This is the Rumor Report with Angela Yee. Breakfast Club.
So Kanye West has promised to return his 50% share of all good music artists' masters. And he actually challenged Universal to do the same. He said, I'm giving all good music artists back the 50% share I have of their masters. Now let's have Universal match me. Huh.
If Kanye doesn't follow through with that, then we know he's full of it, because he didn't tell people that he owned the masters to his good music artists when he initially went on his rant. So all good music artists need to save that tweet. Not sure it's good in the court of law, but save it anyway.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
he has to stand by
everyone
his
saw it. I don't
word
know.
since he's been talking so crazy. He has to stand on his word, right?
Now, Big Sean responded, thank you. This would help so much. And Designer said, thanks. And he put the 100 emoji.
I hate knowing what I know, but I wish Kanye West would tell people the whole truth. Like, he's not telling folks that he renegotiated with Def Jam Universal 4 times and chose the money over his masters every time. He's also not telling people that he owns the masters, the Yeezus, and every album after that. He's talking about slavery as a choice. No, signing those record contracts he signed is a choice. That was really a choice.
He also tweeted out, I'm not releasing nothing on Gap till I'm on the board. And he said, I'm wearing Jordans till I'm on the board of Adidas.
I was confused with that. You have your own sneakers. It's not like you have a part. No, you have your own sneaker. You're not an endorser of Adidas. You have your own Adidas. And you want to wear Jordan? Maybe just like Jordan's better. I don't know.
Well, at least he's wearing another black man sneaker. And I just want the record to show that I sit on the board of the Black Effect Podcast Network, a network that I am majority owner of with iHeartRadio. But, you know, those type of things have to be negotiated beforehand. But what do I know?
All right. Now, Ed Sheeran, as you know, is being sued. And that is for using Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On for his 2014 song Thinking Out Loud, using the harmony, melody, and rhythmic components. So I want to play both songs, and I want to hear if you think that this is official.
Call it an interpolation.
Yeah, interpolation. Yeah, you could definitely hear some Marvin Gaye-ish shit in there.
So what are they doing? Are they snowing?
Well, Ed Sheeran is responding to the lawsuit, and he responded when it first was filed. He said that the chord progressions and drum patterns were extremely commonplace in the public domain and unprotectable. All right, well, the song Let's Get It On was actually co-written by Ted Townsend, so it's the Townsend estate that is seeking songwriting credit, and they want a portion of the revenue from the song. Now, Townsend family did file this lawsuit against Sheeran back in 2016, and a couple of days ago, Ed Townsend's daughter, Catherine Townsend, just spoke out about this, and she said, theft and bullying has been the only priority of the record label's agenda. It stopped today. Sony, Atlantic, and all the rest of them. We're coming for our 40 acres and a mule plus and interest, and know that we're not going to be silent. It don't stop till my casket drop.
Yeah, Ed is a great guy. He's not a vulture. He's not a thief. So I'm sure Ed would rectify that situation if there is indeed a problem.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, Academics says he had a conversation with Quavo and Offset, and that's after he was saying that the Migos fell off. And here's what he had to say about their conversation.
I spoke to Offset, salute to my man Offset. And I'm not going to lie, I want to really give him credit for being mad reasonable and understanding and saying, hey, listen, I listened to the segment and I felt you were saying some that we needed to hear. He literally said, I want you to expound on those things. And we had like about 30-minute conversation where, for the most part, he was listening. He was like, yeah, he asked me, what feels different? What looks different? Why do you think this is happening? And for him, it was about gaining information.
All right. Well, sounds like there's nothing to worry about there.
Y'all putting too much pressure on artists, man. Migos been around for damn near a decade. They have changed hip-hop. You know, like you're not going to be that red hot artist every year. You can only hope to be consistent. And I would think the Migos were consistent. They just put out solo albums last year. Offset just had like a clout with Cardi B last year. Like I don't to say that they fell off is nuts.
They haven't fell off. No, they haven't fell off. But they stay consistent. They stay in the clubs. They stay in their lane. They stay on the radio. They are consistent.
Plus, it's a COVID year. We don't know what artists would have been doing, if they weren't sitting at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think y'all putting too much pressure on folks, man.
All right. And Kodak Black is asking Donald Trump for help. He wants him to commute his prison sentence. His attorneys sent a petition to Trump, and they're asking to cut Kodak a little bit of a break. And so they said that Kodak was sentenced to 46 months behind bars in his federal gun case. They said the average sentence for that is 18 months. So they're just asking for some help. And actually, Kodak Black's attorney was a contestant on The Apprentice way back in 2005.
Trump probably like, blacks. I commute blacks all the time. We've commute blacks through the First Step Act. I'm not commuting any more blacks.
All right, well, I'm Angela Yee, and that is your Rumor Report.
All right, shout to Revolt. We'll see you tomorrow. Everybody else, the People's Choice Mixes.